Okay, Deadmines. Deadmines is a lot of people's first dungeon, and it's a lot of people's favorite dungeon. It's one of my favorites. I love the pirates. The Defiance Brotherhood lore is really neat. It's a very linear dungeon. There's, I think, 3 quests in it. There's a lot of little tips and tricks to speed things up or help you get through it, so let's jump into it. Okay, we're going to start off and go over here to the left and pick up these 3 quests. Now, one of these quests is a chain quest, which after you defeat a boss, it will give you another quest. Notice right here to the left, see these powder kegs? If you hit them, they will stun anything around them, but not you. So I'm going to pick up all this stuff and stun them all. A little sketchy, healer's caught up. Now if you notice in just a second, things start exploding. That's thanks to these handy little cannons right here. There's a few in this first room, and then there's a couple in the last room. DPS can hop in them to do an absurd amount of damage to things around them. So here's another keg, stun, we're just gonna kill these. Nothing real special, and then we pull the first boss. This boss doesn't really do anything special. He has, he empowers his fist with fire and then with frost, and that's about it. We're just gonna speed through this. And then when he starts spraying things out of his hands, just move out of the circles on the ground. It's pretty easy. Avoid things on the ground. That's really it. It's real exciting. Then he explodes, and this is the chain quest starts. Make sure you grab that quest, continue the next one, loot the pile of dirt. Now let's go to the next room, hallway. So this is fun. So these monkeys right here, you can release them and they will attack anything around them that is not you guys. So you click the little ball and chain and it releases the monkeys. Do not attack the monkeys before you release them or they will start attacking you. Now this mine bunny will give you a drunken haze debuff, which is not fun. It slows you down, it drops your haste, it's not fun. So be prepared for that. Don't do what I did and pull the entire hallway with all the monkeys. There's more barrels, use those. Release all the monkeys. Really sketchy there. Now these 2 guys are the mobs you're going to see in the next room. They have a bleed, which is pretty hefty. It throws an axe in your head. It's kind of a cool effect. So just try not to pull too many, as you'll see what I do here. There's 3. I pull one too many. Note that hitting the exploding barrel does not pull anything. So if you hit it and it explodes, it doesn't do anything if the target is not already in combat. Look at me not having my heal on my bars, so I have to click it out of the spell book. Noob. Let's finish these up. And then the boss. Boss is a 2-phase boss. Looks like I found some upgrades and equipping them real quick before I pull the boss. You're actually fighting the little guy. The boss is the little guy on the big guy's back. So what the little guy is going to do is throw these bombs, and they'll activate after they light, after they blink a few times. They knock you up in the air, and they do a considerable amount of damage, so just stay away from them. It's that easy. He'll pick up somebody and run to the wall. It doesn't do that much damage. Your healer can deal with it. And now the little guy jumps off and jumps on someone else's back. He's just going to melee them for not a whole lot of damage. Once the big guy's dead, you just have to deal with the little guy who's just going to jump from person to person. Pretty self-explanatory. Continue dodging bombs. Don't pull any other mobs in the room during the boss. That's kind of dangerous. But there, second boss done. That quick. We move on to the next area. These little guys right here cannot be interrupted, but they can be stunned. The ones with the little golden shower stream onto the other ads. That you know. Anyway, continuing on. So we're just gonna pull these guys up. The miners aren't even elites, so they die really quick. It's the Defiance buffers or whatever they're called that need to go down. That's one thing about these lower level dungeons is interrupts don't work a lot of the times, but stuns do. Alright, this next room with these harvesters, they get down to about 10% and then shoot an electric beam to right there. Shoot it to the boss, and then someone can jump in them and use them to attack for, I think it's 20 seconds. So after you defeat all the harvesters, they will activate the boss. If you notice, the DPS in here are jumping into harvesters and using them to attack the next harvester. Good job. It helps speed up the dungeon, does a lot of damage. You can use the last one on the boss for about 10 seconds, which is a good amount of damage. This boss doesn't do anything special. He spins and runs. He then attacks. There is one attack that does some damage, but I think my healer wasn't paying attention at that point. And then boss 3 done. Now this next room right here has the Defiance Blood Wizard in it. Now the Blood Wizard will drop a rage zone, there it is, the big red bubble, on the floor, and anyone standing inside it gets a 25% damage buff. You can kite them out and then you stand in it to get the buff to help with AoE, because low level tanks are the only ones with AoE most of the time. But make sure if your DPS don't know it, tell them to get in the bubble, it increases their damage. More barrels, more mobs, more buffs. The one assassin kept jumping behind me, so I just, I pulled her out and finished her off. Click the cannon, open the door. 4 mobs will spawn. This room behind me, there are parrots, so watch out for those. My group was avoiding the void zones, so I had to tell them to get in it real quick so it would buff them. They weren't aware. This room's interesting. So these patches of fire on the ground are where the cannons from the boat are shooting. If you get hit by a cannon, it will knock you into the water. So just wait for the cannonball to land before you move around it. Now you can move completely around them and not get hit, which is what I suggest doing most of the time. But for the ones you can't avoid, just wait for it to hit and then go. There's no need to try and speed through it. Our healer got knocked off, and as you can see there, he's walking. When you get knocked off, you just turn around and walk back to the entrance there, and you can get back up. And try again. Now here are those cannons again. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to mark this cannon, and then that will, hopefully one of the DPS will get in. Yes, see, one of the DPS got in, and look at the damage the rogue is doing to these mobs with that cannon. It's like 5 times my damage. It does so much damage and makes this pull, or these next couple pulls, so much easier to do. I'll mark that cannon, and boom, they just get deleted. And you can do this all the way up, just like that. Next pull, just going to pull everything. He's going to get in the cannon. And I'm making sure to hold it somewhere I know the cannon can reach. Now I'm going to wait for them, and then we have the last 2 bosses. Admiral Ripsnarl, pretty straightforward. All he does is he auto-attacks you, and then makes everything go foggy, and then spawns some ads. You kill the ads, you kill him, fight done. Nothing real exciting. Next boss, make sure to grab that quest. Next boss is Cookie. It's a little Murloc chef. Now this boss has an interesting mechanic. There are 2 kinds of food on the ground. There's good food and rotten food. If you eat the good food, you get a huge haste buff that stacks up to 5. If you eat the rotten food, you get a haste debuff that stacks to 5. So just eat the good food, stay away from the rotten food. This fight will go by real quick. And that's the dungeon. Make sure you turn in your quest, and make sure to wait for the quest NPCs before you leave the dungeon. Turn them in, level, have a good day. Well, I hope you enjoyed that. I hope I covered everything properly. If you enjoyed it, leave me a like or a comment and a subscribe or whatever else you're supposed to do on YouTube to prove that you like things. If I missed something or you wanted to add something, throw it in the comments. I'll put it in the description to make sure people look out for it. Or I may edit the video and add something to it if YouTube lets me do that. So let me know. Have a good day. Check out my other videos.